sessions, which was Labor's proposal in the last election campaign. Basically, you pursued that, well, partly to raise revenue and partly to stop or try and curb this phenomenon of first homeowners bidding in auctions against property investors. So what does, that's a significant issue. So what does the current housing policy do to ameliorate that phenomenon? And if Jason's got a minute, just picking up from David's question, which I also asked in Brisbane, what has the Labor Party done by way of analysis to work out what the likely impact this policy is on housing prices?
Okay, I'll get Jason to answer his question, and then we'll just take one more. In terms of our policy, we have made it very clear now that we have a comprehensive plan to assist people to buy. We also have a comprehensive plan to increase supply through social housing, to have affordable housing for essential workers. We also have a plan in terms of emergency housing, $100 million to assist women and children escaping domestic violence. This is a suite of measures which, taken together, will take pressure off people who are struggling with housing. That is what we have put together. We've announced it in a considered, costed, serious way going forward, and I think that it represents a comprehensive plan and stands in stark contrast to a government which is now rejecting this plan that they've advocated for so long. Jace? Jace?
This is short.
I've answered
So
Albanese, what would you...
Well, hang on a sec, James. I'll just answer this. It won't take 2 secs. So it's been costed by the PBO. The answer to your question around the impact on prices has been, that work's been done by the Grattan Institute. So, Catherine, I'd recommend you have a look at the paper that was published by the Grattan Institute recently.
On the petrol excise, what would you do to replace the petrol excise, Mr. Albanese?
One here and then I'll finish with that.
Just a local health question, Mr.
Sure.
Albanese. 2 urgent Medicare clinics were announced for the coast yesterday. As you know, the region is crying out for GPs. They're saying they're in crisis, but they're also saying that they'd rather see more expenditure on general practice overall rather than just another layer of red tape and healthcare. What's your response to that?
Well, this is about giving people access through urgent care clinics in Gosford and Wyong. This is an area where it has a lot of families, and when a kid gets injured on a skateboard or what have you, instead of ending up in an emergency department at Wyong Hospital, waiting for care, taking up places and to get that support. Having an urgent care clinic will take pressure off emergency departments. We'll work in conjunction with existing GP clinics and community health centres. It's a practical plan. And this guy here knows a little bit about healthcare well, both of them do actually, know a lot about healthcare, so I'll give them an opportunity to talk locally about that. If you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So the urgent care clinics that we announced yesterday, and now I'm talking as a doctor, are an absolutely fantastic idea. They're designed to take pressure off emergency departments and take pressure off our general practitioners. They give people another avenue of care, which is a tried and tested care model overseas. New Zealand, Canada, the United States. Those countries use urgent care centres and they work. It's for urgent medical care, not emergent medical care. And I think that this policy, with 2 urgent care centres here on the coast, one in the north and one in the south, will only be beneficial for our local health services.
Thanks. And on your question, just finally...
Can I just ask a question?
Well, you have asked the question.
What would you do to replace the massive revenues the petrol excise raises if everyone's driving electric vehicles and you want to drive up the usage of electric vehicles significantly over the next decade, at the same time as reducing greenhouse gas emissions and lowering power prices? How will you do all 3 at the same time?
You know quite well, James, that in this country what we don't have is a whole lot of hypothecated taxes. That's not the way our system works. And that's not the way the system works. Paul Fletcher announced a review into these issues in conjunction with states and territories. I'm not sure where that review went. Like so many things with this government, they announce reviews and then nothing happens. They announce reviews in order to avoid announcing actual policies. Thanks very much.
Why won't you answer?
That's where we leave Anthony Albanese. He's in East Gosford talking about the cost of living. A few hot button questions there. He's returning. Hang on. What's going on here? He's back at the mics. Let's listen back in.
To pay for the scheme, is that correct? And if not, and if that's correct, why weren't you upfront about it when you announced it?
Oh, look, this is an investment, not a cost. If you're going to invest in 10,000 homes a year over 4 years, you borrow that, you invest in it. But you know what the good thing, and the cost of the budget, as I said, I think a moment ago, or maybe I didn't mention it at this press conference, is $329 million. Yeah. I know that the Liberal Party campaign headquarters have been throwing some questions at you, so that was one of them. Maybe I should answer that one here as well. That is the interest that you pay on the money you borrow here. But if you own a home, and hopefully a lot of us here do, you know it's a good investment. It's a good long-term investment. You make money over time. We can do that here too. Where these schemes have been set up in WA and the UK, the taxpayer makes money. So we do two things here. We help people like Lydia and Angela that I talked about before to live in a home that they own rather than renting for the rest of their life. And we make money for taxpayers as well. And that's a win-win.
Yeah, I just on this point, I've seen some of the spin from the government that says both. Says it's a cost, but then says the government are going to make money. I just say to them, settle on what your spin is and stick to one line.